talking about the scroll saw. This particular scroll saw is a 24-inch scroll saw made by Powermatic. Some of the parts of this machine, we have an overarm right here. The overarm supports the top of the blade and it determines the size of the scroll saw. This particular scroll saw is a 24-inch scroll saw, meaning that from the back of the overarm to the back of the blade, it is 24 inches. They make scroll saws of many different sizes. Another part of this machine is the table. The table supports the workpiece that you're cutting. We have a clear shield to protect your eyes from dust and debris. We have an insert plate located in the middle of the table. This is a removable portion of the table used when changing the blade. The blade is right here on the front of the blade. It has teeth. The teeth point in a downward direction, and the teeth are what does the cutting on the scroll saw. This yellow piece right here is called the hold down. The hold down is adjusted with this lever right here, and you adjust it to the top of the wood when you are setting up the machine to cut. If you look closely at the blade, you can notice the teeth on the front of it, and they are pointing in a down direction. This part of the scroll saw is the electric motor. You'll notice that there's an orange knob on the side of the motor that allows you to turn the machine over by hand before you turn it on with the switch. The motor powers a belt underneath this belt guard, and the other end of the belt connects to a gearbox on the underside of the table. When setting up the scroll saw to use, the first thing that you should do is adjust the hold down so that it's just resting on the top of the wood. So to do that, you loosen up this lever, and I can raise or lower that hold down depending on the thickness of wood that I'm cutting. In this case, I'm cutting a piece of 3/4 inch pine, so I'm going to lower it down so it's just resting. And after you've adjusted that, you can tighten that hold down back up. Before I turn the machine on, I want to make sure that my piece of wood is away from the blade, and I'm going to grab that orange knob that's on the end of the motor and spin it over 4 or 5 times to make sure that nothing is hitting. You want to make sure that the shield isn't hitting the blade, and you want to make sure that the hold down is adjusted correctly. So as I get started, I want to remember to keep my fingers at least 2 inches away from the machine, and make sure that any loose jewelry, clothing, neckties, necklaces are taken off or tucked in. After I've set up the machine properly and put my safety glasses on, I'm now ready to start using the scroll saw. So to get started, I'm going to keep my workpiece away from the blade. I'm going to turn it on with the green start button. When I'm finished making my cut, I'm going to hit the large stop button with my knee. Notice when I finish making my cut, I slowed down towards the end of the cut so that my momentum from pushing forward didn't cause me to lunge forward after the blade exited the piece of wood that I was cutting. Quick review of the parts. We have an overarm, determines the size of the scroll saw and supports the top of the blade. We have a table. We have an insert plate, we have a hold down, we have a belt guard, we have an electric motor, and we have a clear shield.